Sigil says, do you think the current state of the game is enticing for new players or anyone interested in coming back? I think there's a huge uphill battle. An enormous uphill battle for people coming into the game that are brand new or returning after 20 years, because at that point, frankly, you're brand new, right? So, you know, getting into the game as a brand new player is difficult just because this game is fairly complex, right? Mythic did a great thing. It might have been Broadsword. Did a great thing with the tutorial zones where they put... there's a ton of questing in there that, like, a lot of people just blow through and bypass and don't bother. But I don't think there's any doubt amongst anybody involved that there could be more documentation. I don't blame that on anybody, but the folks that were... I think there's, like, one singular... focus that I'd put on, like, who to blame, and that would be the folks at Mythic from like 2010 onward that I just don't think did a very good job of documenting all of the changes that occurred in the game. And that's not like, I'm not trying to bash anybody, but look, you've got an MMORPG that's 20 years old now. 10 years ago, or 19 years old, whatever. We're just, for the sake of the argument, say 20. 10 years ago, it was 10 years old. Who would have thought that it would have lasted another 10 years? So, again, documentation's not up to date. That's tough. There's no organized video tutorial series. That's tough. Now, keep in mind, and I can't say one thing without saying the other, is that we have an amazing community team that is so dedicated to doing everything that they can for the game. But it's a 20-year-old game. And it's not like Broadsword's got, you know, a team of 15 communications and, you know, in-game helpers. So we're very lucky to have what we have. So to answer your question, no, I don't. Do I think it's enticing? Yeah, I think it's super enticing. It's the best PvP out there. There's nothing quite like this. PvP. I'm having trouble with English tonight. You can't find this level of PvE, this kind of interactivity between factions on any other game. Not like this. So yeah, it's enticing for sure. Is it Mike Video Guy asks, is it easy to reactivate older accounts that were last active in the Mythic era? Yes, absolutely. Email support@darkageofcamelot.com, number 1. That's your best bet. If that fails, reach out to... Come on into either my Discord, probably the easiest way of getting a hold of Carol, because I don't have the link readily available for the official one. We can certainly send you that way. But Beeb is in. Beeb is the one of the 2 community managers for the game, and she's in our Discord. So if support at Dark Age of Camelot doesn't work out, I would then recommend that you, you know, as a second action, go to Beeb. And Beeb can probably find a way, if you've got enough information about the account, to be able to pull it back up. Calibrex says, was there any talks about Broadsword doing their own template and or character planner? Stay tuned for the new Herald. I don't know for sure if there is a template and or character planner, but there's been bits and pieces of information over X amount of the last maybe year or so that they've kind of talked a little bit about features that are going to be there. And I do know nothing that Broadsword has told me, but I do know that the guy from DAoC Utils is starting to depreciate that site. So I think that there will be limited options pretty soon. And whether Broadsword takes it over and does something like that, or another third party does, I think will be really important. Pronder says the bomb group y'all did the other night was fun to watch. That was awesome. If you guys did not check that out, there's a whole bunch of highlights on the stream. If you go into the video section or the clip section of this Twitch page, there were some pretty cool highlights of some of the bombs that we did. We will end up doing another bomb group next weekend. The struggle here with doing bomb groups at all in the game, especially when, and just to be completely like transparent about this, the reason why we even thought about doing a bomb group in the first place was because we wanted to wipe the hero Zerg. I am not speaking on behalf of the entire community when I say this, but I'm definitely speaking on behalf of a lot of people that would prefer to not see hero run during US prime time. So the goal was to hit hero head on. The problem is he has so many ports open that it's very difficult to find a spot for him, find a spot to hit him, especially when he's out and about doing his thing, when he's taking all the structures in the game. It's very tough. It's way easier to do a bomb group when there's a funnel, right, where you know that he's going to come into a particular tower. Bammer says, I would prefer hero to not run at all, just my opinion, though. I think that is an opinion that is shared amongst a lot of people. We've talked extensively about hero and his play style and how it impacts the game. And for folks who have not watched that, there are 2 other State of the Game videos on YouTube. You can type, I think, DAoC State of the Game, or you could also go to my Discord, and it's on the videos section, where we talk at length about hero. I, for one, think it's made it damn near impossible to play during certain hours. And I also think that part of that responsibility to fix that, though, sits on the shoulders of the leaders of other realms. If Alb had a BG leader, and had like a BG leader that logged in and day out, 7 days a week or 5 days a week or whatever, this would not be a problem. It never used to be a problem when there were a lot of EU players that the Italians and the French had their groups on Alb and always gave hero a run for his money. But when there's nothing else going on in other realms, when there's no opposing BG on Alb, and maybe a lackluster one, and I'm not trying to bash Anna, but like a lackluster one on mid that just is, doesn't draw the numbers, and can't possibly engage with, the amount of people that hero has. This is just what's going to happen naturally, right? People are just going to gravitate towards the hero Zerg. The only way to change that is to counter it and to provide people more options. We haven't talked about realm timers. Let's talk about realm timers. Oh, Pronder, by the way, Pronder says, I believe Gear Bunny Fusion is the best template planner for the moment. Gear Bunny Fusion, I love Gear Bunny. I use it extensively. Would highly recommend. Realm timers a year ago would have made a difference. Realm timers only make sense when there's a population to support them. Right now, it'll hurt Alb. It might even hurt mid. But there will be a short-term, like a really negative short-term impact to Alb by doing that. I think it makes a lot of sense when there's a ton of people playing the game. I don't think it makes sense right now. And I'm not talking, this is 8-man play style, people who solo, right? And Bammers may disagree with me on this, but realm timers don't, when there's a population, realm timers do not impact those people. They will say that they do, but in reality, they don't. Look at what's happening on one of the biggest free shard that exists right now. And again, we don't talk about names of free shards. Realm timers, you're very limited over there, and people do just fine competitively. It's the live servers that makes it more difficult, just because of there's just a smaller population. Doesn't mean that there's no action, by the way, for people who are watching and thinking, should I get into the game? Yeah, absolutely you should. And by getting in the game, you actually help solve the, I wouldn't say it's a problem, maybe more of a small deficiency. But here, realm timers don't make a ton of sense. Again, ask me a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have told you absolutely make them 5 hours. Make them actually probably more like 12. 12 would be smart. I wouldn't do any more than 12, I think, ever. But But you know what, Ollie, you have a fantastic point. I didn't even think about that, of course. Realm timers actually don't do anything if you've got multiple accounts. Now, at the other place, at the free shard, you can't, that's not something that you can't circumvent that. The free shard, in particular, this free shard that I'm talking about, the more popular one, actually checks against, there's a unique identifier within Windows. And that's how they track you. So they're pulling, it's a registry key, but they're pulling the unique identifier from Windows. And that's how they're able, that is sort of their fingerprint that they're using in addition to your IP address to be able to figure it out. You can change that very easily and get around it, but that's what they're doing. In any event, you can't do that over there. And people seem to live just fine. Now over here, yeah, there's still a 15-minute realm timer, which I think is, I don't know, I think it's more to appease people than anything else, but it doesn't work because the people who play competitively have multiple accounts and they can swap. I have multiple accounts. There's no realm timer for me. It just doesn't change anything right now. The realm hoppers are not causing the problems in the game. The realm hoppers are not part of the imbalance problem in the game. They're not. It's a lack of options. That's really what it comes down to. If you had BG leaders on Alb, and BG leaders on mid, and BG leaders on Hib that were reliable, and we do on most. I'm not saying that Hib and actually all three realms have reliable BG leaders. It's just how much action or how much fun you have with them, I think, is what counts. That's the reason why there's a population issue here. And look, to be fair, population has done this over the last 20 years for all three realms. We talk about this time and time again. It ebbs and it flows. It's not going to be the same in 6 months as it is right now. I'm telling you that much. It never has been. So, yeah, I think the Bammers is saying if you can't swap to find something to fight, then it's going to push you to do something. That's really the issue. Pronder says 40 to 50 on Alb, 80 mid, 130 Hib, US Prime last Saturday. US Prime on Saturday nights is apocalyptically bad. We won't, I don't even, like, there are so many other things that have to get, or that is probably the biggest thing that has to get addressed. And Pronder says Alb needs a Legion, and Alb does need a Legion. By the way, for everybody that's saying, like, the Zergs are killing the 8-man action, if you don't have Zergs and you don't have other 8-mans, then you've got no action. So for the folks that are like, everybody just has to stop Zerging, that's not going to solve the problem. Nobody has said that here, but I've heard it a lot in the past. Zerging has happened since day one on the free shard, right, where it was all about competitive fighting, and there was a lot of, like, really great technical fighting that was occurring over there. It eventually became a Zerg Fest too. And Bammer says it right there. I hate to say it, Zergs are what makes IRC groups fun, or good, decent 8-man groups fun. Absolutely. Yep. And if you don't have those folks, I think those folks bring 8-mans, or I think there are people that that graduate from, again, something that we talked about, I think, on the first stream, where there are different, and we can recap it, but there are different layers of players. There's different, it's like, you know, Onions have layers, Ogres have layers, DAoC players, or all gamers have layers. There are the super, super social, just logging in to have a good time. And by the way, there can be a mixture of all these things. Super social, have a good time. Don't really care about the game, more there to just chit-chat and hang out. There's the light casual players who have a basic understanding of their tune, but are not really interested, are more interested in getting in the action and, like, fighting stuff, not necessarily about, like, how much damage they do or whether their tune is temped or how many RPs they make, right? Just, like, there's a lot of stuff going on and it's really exciting. Then there's the casual Zerger, right? The casual Zerger is the one that logs in and plays and can do, you know, pretty well in any situation when it comes to large-scale fights. Small percentage of those folks can competitively play in 8-mans and understand the dynamics of 8-man fights. A smaller group of that section is hyper competitive and like they don't Zerg at all, and all they do is 8-man, and they play together all the time. They understand their tunes, they understand the group makeup, they get it. And then there is the step above that, which is IRC. We're what we call IRC here. And this is true for every single game that exists. There are these different tiers of players, right? I don't think anybody expects that people who start Fortnite on day one or who log in to Fortnite to just like hang out in the lobby, right, are going to be able to go up against some of the greats of Fortnite. That's just not how it works. That's why esports is a thing. Fodfrid, the RP bonus, it doesn't work. It's not great right now. Broadsword did an amazing thing when they put this in place. I give the folks at Broadsword a ton of credit for the RP bonus, because they were trying to solve a problem and doing it in a neutral way that supports all three realms and the ebb and flow. It's like it's the least aggressive change that you can make to kind of help bolster and support the underpopulated realms, in addition to things like defense RPs and putting outer doors up at the outer oil, right? But it doesn't work now because it is being used as, first off, I don't think anybody has made maybe other than IRC perhaps, or some of the competitive groups, but really the majority of the game has not seen a benefit from it. And what's happening is that most of the larger groups of players are using it as a deciding factor as to whether they are going to actually run or play the game. They look at the bonus and they go, there's no way. They have too many, we can't. And then they log out. Which is exactly the opposite of what Broadsword wanted to do. It's okay. I mean, sometimes you get, you knock the ball out of the park 5 times in a row and then you get a couple misses. It's okay. I mean, they at the time when it was rolled out, they did a great thing. It's just, things are changing. The game is changing. And so the RP bonuses aren't working, and I think even displaying them is a problem. It might not be an issue just to have them exist quietly, but having them displayed is actually causing more problems right now than it's trying to fix. Bammer says a lot of people don't understand that some people are a bit of all of these. I mean, I were on IRC, then I'll swap over to a very casual guild group that loses over half their fights just because they're super fun to run with and to hang out with. So many people like to put you in a box. For sure. I'm not suggesting you are hyper competitive and like you're an introvert and not social at all, right? The reason why these groups exist, these hyper competitive groups exist, is because in part because everybody enjoys playing with one another. IRC looks at the bonus a lot, but they go back and forth so often they aren't a reason to pick a realm to play on that day. They might have been long ago, but it's true that the bonus isn't really, especially with, I mean, IRC makes, these competitive groups make so many RPs to begin with, even a 40% bonus. It might help Tom get rank 13. But it's not really going to make a difference. Ollie says, for the longest, I ran with AlBG in the evenings. Then after we'd run a small stealth group, that was always more fun to me. The laughs we'd have. Yeah. That's always a blast. There's always I could look at Discord right now, and I'm willing to bet that there are goggles folks. Okay, this is a bad example. There are no goggles folks that are currently grouped together, but most nights they're out playing. Like I've woken up, I've been up until 3 in the morning, like coding and programming all this stuff, and I've like looked, and there have been goggles folks that have been running at 3 in the morning together. So, it's great to be able to transition from one to another. IRC, Bammer says, IRC knows that Alb never has a BG on Monday, so they always pick Alb because they know there'll be a consistent bonus. Not many days are like that. It's so inconsistent. Right, but also, they pick Alb because I would imagine, right, they know that there's going to be snacks on other realms because the bonus is there, or because the population is is a little lopsided. You don't log onto a realm. It's not like you need... IRC doesn't need the level of support that some Zergs do in terms of numbers, right? So it doesn't really matter to them, right? They want to be fed. Don't blame them. But the idea is to log into a realm in which you know you're going to get fights, and if you log in the underpopulated realm, there's a good chance that you're going to be able to kill people on the other realms, right? You know, I think Broadsword is doing everything that they can right now. And I think it would be worthwhile to just hunker down and wait and see what comes. I mean, it is a constantly evolving situation that's happening with Hero and the Zerging and all sorts of other stuff, right? And I don't... You know, who knows what's going to happen, but they're paying attention. They're listening. And it's why it's so important that you submit feedback and that you talk to Carol and you talk to Leah. You spend time in the Discord having conversations with people about the issues. Sigil says, when is the new webpage actually coming? From what I understand, it's still being worked on. And it's not as if... It's not an excuse. I know that for a fact. It's not... They're not just saying it, and it's not... They're working on it. I don't know what the delay is. I would imagine that there's other things like any other, company that come along the way, that there have been things that have sort of popped up in between the start of the project and where they're supposed to be now. It's not like they're using Agile, right? Which is a method of tackling issues or tackling projects and when you're coding. It's not like they're using Agile and they're just like busting through the website in 2 weeks and then they're done. I mean, there's a lot of stuff up in the air. They're trying. They are. And who knows what the, I have every reason to believe that the new site is going to be packed full of features. But also, that takes time. Back in the day, Mythic had an XM, I think it was an XML output of the current keep status in the game. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they pushed out for public consumption. People could build their own sites. They could build you could build your own herald, if you will. I don't think that XML thing exists anymore. I don't think that output from the server exists anymore. If it did, then it'd be way easier to do, everything that they're trying to do externally. It might be broken, who knows? So that's, I'm sure, part of the problem. It's a grab bag. We maybe ask if they choose your questions, and Carol very well might. Is the dev stream still a thing? Haven't seen it over the past few weekends. Yeah, I believe it is. If it wasn't last weekend, so first and foremost, right? The dev stream happens regularly on Saturdays. That's the thing that's just always been. Beeb, despite what people might not understand or might believe otherwise, Beeb is like a human being. She has lungs and a heart and a face and other things. Like, she's got a life, she's got friends, she's got family. If a Saturday comes up where, just like me, right? Like, I take a day off, she's allowed days off too. Beep is a human, no way. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Because honestly, half the time, I think she's a robot because she's always online. She's always there. I talk to her sometimes at midnight Eastern. I don't think it's not all following here and watching from a streamer point of view. That's not all. The dev stream's not always about that. It's and think about it from Beep's perspective too. When you're producing a stream like this, you've got to cover whatever's going on between all three realms. You can't Like, the stream is on a super delay. You can't always get to all the fights. Because there's other fights occurring, or you might be covering 8v8, or some soloers killing other soloers, or whatever. Or woke, you know, ripping like 5 at a time. And you can't always get back to the big fights. So, having one point of view is tough. I've argued that there should be more than one. But, no, Beebs does a great job. Those dev streams, they're tough, though, because you can't be everywhere all at the same time. I also like hearing her queue up and talk. It's very, like, listening to the music and then, like, hearing her come up, even if it's just talking about the giveaways, you know? It's like, super relaxing. This is, like, super, like, weird to admit, but there are totally times where I've just, like, wanted to watch gameplay, and I've put the stream up on my TV, and I've poured a glass of wine, and I've just kicked back, then I've watched. And, like, watching the chat go, and hearing her, you know, interact with people. I love it. There are days where I absolutely pour a glass of wine and watch her do that. And there have, Siamber makes a great point. There's been a, so the overall view and the close-up view, and just recently, I think as of a few weeks ago, she debuted a new thing where somebody was streaming to her, and you got to see the bird's eye view and what was going on the ground view, like from a player in the fight. That was pretty cool. So what else do we want to talk about? I don't want to keep people here forever. I'm certainly welcome to stay and talk as long as you guys want about whatever. Do you have things that you're curious about that you want to discuss about the game or the state of the game? We talked about relics a little bit last week. We could talk about relics again. You know, I think I could just look at Exidio at the Herald real quick. The population was up during the bonus. I think there's a pretty solid chance it's going to stay static for a while. Unfortunately, with COVID sort of wrecking the country right now and wrecking the world, I think that there will be more people that will log in to play the game. How about lag dancing? What do you mean, Bammers, about lag dancing? Is that like a thing that you do where you like dance into music and then you pull the plug on yourself? Ollie says, now is your chance, guys. Speak up or forever hold your peace. Yes, do it now. Anything cool scheduled event-wise over the holiday next week? Other than what has normally been the events that have been year after year, I think Broadsword does a Thanksgiving thing, and then they immediately kick off into Christmas. There'll definitely be a lot of events coming up over the next few months. There's going to be some really cool stuff. I'm sure of it. Dancing when fighting, and a lot of people don't like it. Figured it could be a talking point. Oh, abusing lag. I mean, it's easy for CSRs to see it happening, for one. There's no excuse because the client is talking. There's reporting going on between the client and the server about really like what the latency is, like how things are looking. It's pretty easy to detect somebody abusing lag or slowing down the game or doing other stuff like that. It's really easy to. The thing is, I think you have to be. The CSR has to witness it in order for something to happen. But that's the thing, is you don't know when CSRs are there. And that's why I would suggest that none of you do anything nefarious, because there's a pretty good chance you'll lose your account. But yeah, Bammers, please explain to me more. Champ level still a thing. Yep, CL15. All the way. Go all the way up to CL15. CL15 is required for a lot of the good weapons in the game. Also, some really good mounts. Also armor, right? CL15 is kind of a requirement at this point. And you also you can go to the class trainers and pick up all sorts of really cool things. And I feel like people completely miss the idea of going to class, not your class trainer or what's the Like the Acolyte Trainer. And what am I talking? What's the thing the word I'm looking for? Not Class Trainer, but you know what I mean. What I mean is, like, in theory, you should never be able to land a side stun, but because there's lag between the server and the player, you're able to take advantage of that small server lag to land side rear styles. Yep. Archetype trainers, thank you. Archetype trainers, yeah. I don't, Bammers, I don't know. I don't think that anybody would consider that an exploit. That's just, it's just you know, like in any game, latency matters, right? In any first-person shooter, anytime and thankfully, Dark Age of Camelot's a lot more forgiving. But yeah, latency matters, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. I think if you've got enough latency, you could totally do it. Yeah, but isn't that a server issue? No, not at all, not necessarily. The server is the Dark Age of Camelot servers it's very lightweight. So I'll give you a number that I know off the top of my head. For every client that's connected from from a client to the Dark Age of Camelot server, it takes about 2.5 kilobytes. 2.5 kilobytes per second per player. That's it. That's a hard number. 2.5 kilobytes per second per player. Which means dial-up, you could run this game on dial-up. In fact, I used to. Long time ago. It's the latency that kills you. So, the server, there's not a ton of load on the server. Now, the server code is old, and it does not, how do I say this? It's not been optimized for, you know, like huge mega multi-threaded, multi-core servers. But the servers are fine. Have there been issues where lag has existed in the game? Yeah, and Broadsword's fixed it. Everything's hosted on Amazon EC2 instances, and they can scale those instances depending on how much or how little power they need, depending on population. It does not require a lot. It really does not. I used to run the game on 14.4 dial-up in Japan, so it's not a server. I can definitively tell you it's not a server issue. It would only be a server issue if everybody was experiencing it, or most people were experiencing it at the same time. There's all sorts of variables with internet, with the way in which data gets transferred out of the data center in Virginia where the DAoC server is, and like how it gets to you. And so some people could experience issues more than others, or some people could experience link deads and disconnects where people in other regions do not. I'll give you a great example of this. I have Spectrum here at this house. I have Spectrum. I have a really great Spectrum connection. I mean, in terms of bandwidth, I have like, it's 500 down, 20 up ish, 25 up. It's great. My latency to New York is somewhere around 30 seconds. My girlfriend / partner, she lives not far from me. She has a different ISP that is on VDSL. She has 60 down and like 10 up, right? But it's VDSL, so it's good DSL. I mean, for DSL. Her ISP is connected to a much better backbone, if you will, and has 15 milliseconds less ping than I do. She can get to a data center in New York at 16 milliseconds. Sorry, did I say seconds? Yeah, I meant milliseconds. So her connection, even though she's VDSL, she's a stone's throw from here. 15 to 16 milliseconds getting down to New York. I'm at 30. So that... Sorry. He asked why some people complain about it. I was just explaining the reasons it occurs. Why do so many people complain about people dancing? If it's not taking advantage of the lag, because those folks haven't gone to Apex Legends or to any of the other first-person shooters, Fortnite, right? They haven't gone and they don't realize that latency is a thing. Latency affects everything. It is completely normal to have a great experience if you're playing overseas in this game, but it is not going to be the same experience that you have playing here. It's why they were European servers, especially back then, where there was a lot more latency, transatlantic. Why people complain about it, I don't know. To answer your question, I have absolutely no idea why people complain about it. I would say get good. I mean, there's practice makes perfect. And landing positionals is not that difficult. But it takes a lot of practice. Also, it has a lot to do with how people turn in fights. A lot of people here who watch this stream, totally fine. A lot of people here keyboard turn. I don't know how they do it. I couldn't do it. But a lot of people keyboard turn still. On all 3 realms. Very good competitive players. Some of them keyboard turn. I don't know how I could possibly be competitive in a fight if I had to use my arrow keys or other keys on the keyboard. But there are people that do. Toonses has proudly said she's one of them. I don't know if she's watching right now. Toons is also one of these people that is like a superwoman that has a pretty busy life, right? Can't always be at every stream. But Toons' keyboard turns. Plays with Creeper. An incredible player. Don't know how she does it. Bammer says, I disabled keyboard turning years ago. I can still do it with my arrow keys, but because I've got so many, I don't need to remap any of those because I've got so many other keys that it's not important for me to use it. But I don't know why people complain about that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's beneficial. It can be beneficial to have lag. It can be beneficial to not have lag. Whatever. It's never beneficial to have a connection that drops all the time. And I see in another topic, I see in the official Discord all the time, people are talking about LDs and disconnects and crash to desktops, right? Like those instances where those happen all the time to them. I think maybe I've had 2 LDs in the last 2 months, 3 months. And I think both of them have been on stream. It just doesn't happen to me. I don't ever crash. I don't think I've crashed a desktop in 6 months. But people experience it all the time. I mean, my computer specs are on my Twitch under the About Me. I've got a high-end gaming rig and a decent internet connection, but I would imagine that a lot of these people have very similar setups. I don't know why they crash a desktop in LD. I can just tell you it's not a broadsword issue. There were issues in the last... When 1.127 came out, the original 1.127 came out, there were a lot of issues. But Broadsword also changed and created a ton of new variables between... And this is something that I don't know if has been publicly spoken about before. This is not insider knowledge. Like, Broadsword hasn't told me this, and I'm like, it's not like that. But Broadsword changed quite a bit, at least in terms of data that was being... Not maybe in the method in which data was being fed between the server and the client, but definitely added some new bits at a very, 5,000-foot view. And I believe that was the reason why they had all the issues to begin with. Could be wrong. But there was a lot that changed that doesn't normally change during patches at 1.127. And I think that was probably the issue. But they worked tirelessly. Broadsword worked so hard to fix that. And 1.127b, whenever they did that hotfix, it solved the problem, for me at least. Someone is so sleepy. I was up until 3 in the morning coding last night. I think I posted in Discord at 3, like, that I had just updated something and you should check it out. What time was that at? I have to scroll back and look. It was like 3 in the morning. Yeah, 2:19. I was up till 3. I don't know where Sadie is right now. Sadie? Sadie? You want to come here and say hi? Come on, up. She was sleeping. Sorry, I did wake her up. But she's here. You want to come up and say hi to everybody? You're like half asleep. She can't even stand up straight. She's so tired. But she's a dog and she'll go right back to sleep. I've no concerns about her at all. Do you want to come up and say hi at least? No? Okay. Nope, she's going back to bed. I have the DAoC cam here. I was using it for another purpose though, the other day, and I just haven't turned it back to the bed, and she was on the sofa sleeping anyway. AMD Radeon cards used to have issues. Yeah. Huge issues. In fact, I still won't buy an AMD card because of the driver scares that came with AMD cards. I just won't do it. Now, the big Navi cards that are coming out, we'll see if there's no stability issues. But I just bought a well. Will that show up? I bought a 3080. It's all blurred out because of the there you go. So I went NVIDIA and I sold I had a 2080 Super in this machine. And when the 3080 came out, I bought it on launch day. I was lucky enough to get one of the few thousand units that were out. And I've got it's a honking huge card. I have a 3080 in here. And no issues at all. So it looks like my box, but yours is higher than mine. You mean above, like higher above my head? Bammer says I moved up from a 3070 to a 3080. I think that's smart. I just don't think you're going to find a 3070 too. I think that's also the issue. The potential of Big Navi plus the Zen 3 5 series. Yeah. The Ryzen 5 series plus Big Navi could in fact be quite interesting, but we've yet to see. I don't think the benchmarks, I think there's still a lid or an NDA. The NDA has not been lifted yet. The embargo, in media terms, has not been lifted yet for Big Navi. So we're waiting to see. I think tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Next couple of days, if it wasn't today. 3080 is great. I have no issues with it. Again, 99% of what I play is Dark Age of Camelot. So it's not like I definitely need as much horsepower as possible for... I've got 3 32-inch monitors, all running at 1440p. I'm sure there's pictures of my setup somewhere on the stream or clips of it. The studio lights, all the stuff. But I've got a ton of monitors that I'm driving. I've got Streamlabs. I've got NVIDIA Broadcast, which is what's blurring the background behind me. I don't actually think if I've played with... Have I played with this lately on camera before? Right? So that's all done via the 3080. So it'll remove without a green screen, and I do have a green screen sitting down here that I could pop up at any time. But like I needed as much horsepower as I possibly could get. And so even though it's just Dark Age of Camelot. Oh, where did that come from? I wonder. Does anybody know who that is? There's also another one in here, I'm pretty sure, that I've got laying around. Is that the same one? That kind of looks like the same one. I have a Legan one somewhere here. But Legan's just lucky that I can't find it right now. Oh, just kidding. I found it. There it is. So, anyway. Although, Legan's now got like 15 screenshots. Like literally 15 of them killing me just from one night. You can also do this, which is really creepy. It will follow you. Just in case you're feeling like you might be a little drunk while playing a game. It'll just follow you back and forth. Dottie Dose, thanks so much for the or Dodie Dose, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so it's I don't understand why people complain so much about the LEDs and the crash desktops. I don't have any issues with those, but it's possible that people do. And I would look more at your system than I would at anything else. Okay. Last chance topics. Well, here's another thing. Bammers is still watching. So what Bammers and I are going to duo tomorrow evening for the stream. So, Bammers, what do you want to do? We could decide it here. I'd prefer Alb or Hib. I guess I could do mid, but I'd prefer Alb or Hib. But I'll play whatever. I don't care. Be happy to break Teddy out again, and just swap some things around and go Petstrol. I could do Mauler on Hib. That's a lot of fun. Oh, everybody hold up. Bammers is in the middle of a fight. Please stand by. Yeah, it could be. I think it will be it will be fun to watch. We'll have a good time tomorrow. So the question is, what are we going to do? We're not going to be dueling. We're going to be duoing. Oh, he better win the fight. Oh. Stealth Zerg. No, Bammers won't do that. I don't think Bammers will do that. Maybe he will. If we're going to do stealth, it would have to be on Alb. I've got, the only place I've got, like, fully cursed tempt stealth tunes is on Alb. Infius Scout and, of course, Teddy, too. If he loses, he can blame the background stream. Yeah, he can. He can totally blame me. So I would encourage all of you to go and check out the Discord. Links keep popping up in the chat. If you're not a member of the Discord, join the Discord. It's well worth it. There's all sorts of hilarity that goes on in the Discord. There's also brand new stuff, like these bots that are coming, that are now up and running. And I am constantly tweaking them and changing them. I've got a lot of new stuff I'm developing. I would love for you guys to see it. And if you feel like supporting the stream, patreon.com/RamikMedia. Ollie, it hasn't. Because I think like 10 minutes before, I think I said this at the beginning of the last stream, like 10 minutes before I started streaming earlier, like the first stream of the night, I'd realized that I had completely like blown past it and haven't even bothered trying to upload it today. I woke up and immediately went to coding. So after this stream, I'm going to go ahead and give it my best shot to upload the recap again. And as soon as it processes in HD, yeah, it was bad. But it's a pretty good one. So stay tuned. You guys, the Patreon supporters will get it tomorrow. At the very latest, if it doesn't process by the time I go to bed tonight, as soon as it does, I can't post an empty link. And all of these are on the way I do it is it gets uploaded to YouTube as an unlisted video, and then that gets embedded into Patreon. Yeah, it's true. I was YouTubing memories today in the Discord. Again, that's like, if you guys haven't joined the Discord, there's all like super random crazy stuff that gets posted there. Really cute pictures of animals. He'd usually pins about 15 or 20 posts a day of useless crap just because he can, because he's a mod. Oh god, yeah, there are videos of me singing. That's true. You pinned one of those today? Ollie. Bammers used to carry me on a Petstrol. Yeah. You could do, I mean, we could do two Petstrols would be fun. That could be an awesome time. Smite Cleric and Minstrel. Ooh, yes. Oh god, that was so much fun. Well, you know. You also had other priorities, Woke. You know, you got to get to 12. You had Lone Enforcer to get to. It was a busy time for everybody. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna get can't get Ellie duoing. Damn right. That's so true. How close are you to rank 12, by the way? You getting there? For everybody that doesn't know, Woke is here, aka Wove the Cleric. 3.3 mil. Woke, you should drop your YouTube link. Drop your YouTube link here in the chat so that people can watch it. If you haven't seen Woke's Road to Lone Enforcer video on YouTube, would highly recommend you watch the entire thing. Highly encourage you to watch it. Not just the fighting part. The beginning is like really sappy and lovely, and you should watch the entire thing. So, Bammers is like, sorry, got all three. What's next? Yeah, so what are we going to play tomorrow? Is the question. So there is going to be a stream at 7:45 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. It's going to be Bammers and I duoing on unnamed tunes on a realm that we have not decided yet. There it is right there. Thinking like Bard Channer or Bard Eld? Yeah, sure. Either way. Sneaks would have to be on Alb, but we could do Sneaks. But it would have to be on Alb. But I'm happy to do Bard Channer, Bard Eld. I could play either. Probably I don't. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Let's talk about it. I'll message you on Discord, but it is going to be good. Yeah, I've got just about every class that, and most of my Sneaks on all three support. Of course. Well, yeah, Bammers. I know. Yeah. Okay. Just keep spewing it out. Yeah. What else do you have? I've got mansions on all three realms with golden toilets and lots of fun artwork. Come look at my table of Ellen Vannon on the floor. It's new. Yeah, it'll be fun. Oh, and the music crashed. What is going on with this? Oh, no, it didn't. There we go. It's back up again. Maybe? I don't know what's going on with the music. There we go. Bammers has a golden toilet. Yes, he does. He does. I know it for a fact. Don't lie to people, Bammers. We know you do. All right. Like every stream, we're going to wrap this one up. Last call on questions before I start giving everybody the credit that they're due. It's going to be fun. All right. So just really quickly, only in my third house, Ramik. Okay, sure. It's the house you spend the most of your time in, though. So, really quickly, patreon.com/RamikMedia. An amazing place to help support this stream. What kind of beard oil do I use? I use a... hold on. I'll go grab it and I will bring it. That's a phenomenal question, Crash. Be right back. I mean, we can talk about beard stuff. I don't know. I don't actually know what it's called. I've almost used an entire tub of this and it's great. It's called Cremo. Beard and... Some days, when I'm having a rough one, I wake out of bed and just feel the itch. I know I need Cremo Beard and Scruff Cream Forest Blend. Because if you didn't think you were in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, put this on and you're transported to a whole nother world. It's really good. This is great stuff. I highly recommend it. I used beard oil. You guys have seen. If you haven't, you should check out the Discord. There's pictures and videos. I had a beard down to here. And I used oil at that point. Because oil was just frankly the easiest thing for me to use. I also had to straighten that stuff. I had to straighten my beard. It was so long. It was a huge mess. But I used oil there. This is not enough. I don't. So it's more of a balm. but it's really good. There will not be there. I had a oh, I know what you're talking about, the handlebars. Yeah, no. All you're getting is that printout. That's it. Well, you're disappointed in me for cutting it. Imagine not being able to eat an egg and cheese sandwich for 2 years. Or literally like everything getting on your face. I like egg and cheese sandwiches. I like cheese. I like melted cheese. I like nacho cheese. I like all different kinds of cheese. When cheese is not solid, it's a problem for a beard. It's a huge issue. Don't do it. Bad news. It said Forest Blend. It is. It is Forest Blend. That's it right there. It's good stuff. Would recommend. 10 out of 10. I also have the Cremo, what I use in my hair, which is just like a little bit of pomade. Really good stuff. I don't know where you can buy it. Couldn't tell you any of that. Might be Amazon. Might be Walmart. Might be Walgreens. No idea. That's Forest Blend, Crash. Or AKA Hibernia scent. I do. I walk around smelling like trees. I'm like, I'm in Emain Maka right now. Bring me to Emain Maka. No. That's definitely not it. I firmly believe anybody who complains about about someone shaving their beard has never actually grown a good long man beard. So that beard took me, I kid you not, 7 months to grow. From like what is a little bit shorter than this all the way down. This thing grows like a weed. It is insane. I'm losing hair on here and it's growing. I swear to God, it's growing here. It is insanity. I can't stop it. Night woke. So anyway, that's just all I got about the beard. That has nothing to do with Dark Age of Camelot. But it's like 7 months will get me down to here. Craziness. All right. That's all I got. Again, patreon.com/RamikMedia. You guys, the amount of support I get from you guys every single month, and even day in and day out, is amazing. To Ollie, Siambra, and of course Pronder, thank you guys. You're Beard Crew members. So talking about the beard, the highest tier of support is Beard Crew. We call it Beard Crew because, well, everybody gives me crap about cutting off my beard, and I feel like maybe, just maybe, if we get enough Beard Crew members, no, I'm not going to grow it out again just for that, but greatly appreciate the support, Ollie, Siambra, and Pronder, of course. And to Beeb. Beeb is a tier 3 supporter, which is like a super high level of support for the channel. Thank you so much to Beeb. And of course to Bellamar, and to Gods, and to Keed, and of course our wonderful and lovely Veneer, who is here, who are also patrons and make an enormous difference day in and day out for me to be able to do the stuff that I love. I will very quickly play the one of the bomb videos from last week because you guys asked for it. And it's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and watch that real quick, and then we'll close out the stream and we'll come back. I have to be quick about this, though. Shit, there's... Yeah, those are Hibs. Okay.
Yeah, that's the hero VP. Herkster's
Okay,
there.
sprinting, hold on.
Drop a warp, drop a warp.
Got one. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Sprint, 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 sprint.
Up here? I would just do it right here.
Yep, do it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, drop traps.
And kill Indo.
Be real quick. Nope, right here. Okay. Oh shit, I didn't get it. It's okay.
Oh, here they come.
Perfect.
I got this one.
Well, that's one way to wipe a group. Okay, that'll do every time. Thanks, Frosh. So there's that one. So good. So good. There's a lot more on YouTube and also on the Twitch video clips. Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate all the support. Thanks to all the Patreon subs. Again, the weekly recap video will have to drop tomorrow because that's really my primary goal. I'm done with trying to fix this coding bug. So you guys can expect that tomorrow. Again, if Patreon subs exclusive get a video every single week of a recap of all the fights, including the play-by-plays and annotations on the screen and talking about tactics, it's well worth it. Okay, guys. Until next time, be safe, wear a mask, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time with some duo action with with Bammers. We'll see you. Have a good night.